Welcome back. Well, as it stands now, security, they've given their reasons. INEC have also followed suit. The elections, the exams for the students will go ahead. The Salah festivities will also go ahead, but the elections will not. So, from the look of things, we'll have to live with this one. But does it have any other implication apart from the ones that you've raised?
Yes. Apart from the ones that I've raised, I also think that it may have legal implications. Because as a lawyer, I would always look at issues from the legal perspective. Now, if you recall, Section 178, subsection 2 of the Constitution has been amended twice. The first amendment, I think, sometime in July 2010, and the second amendment sometime in November the same year, 2010. And each of these amendments were responses to realities as to the time INEC should have to conduct elections. Now, it has brought us to this situation now, where INEC has, between September 28th and October 12th, that is 2 weeks, 14 days window, within which they must, and I'm using the must clearly, they must conduct the elections. If they don't conduct the elections, everything that they are doing becomes unconstitutional, null and void before October 12th. Now the question is, assuming without praying that something happens 28th of September, security-wise, perhaps bombs go out, bombs explode randomly somewhere in Edo State or across Edo State. That means they will postpone it again with 1 week or for 1 week.
No, maybe they will have better security, because if they postpone
that is
it
the
now,
point. That is the point. That is the point. Why shouldn't the better security have been available before now? Well, that which you could do in 2 weeks' time, you could do it today.
Well,
sorry, General, with statements like this, does it also have some kind of implication on a nation that is already in recession? If investors are looking towards Edo State,
absolutely,
coming to invest, and you come up with this kind
absolutely
of report,
brilliant question.
Shouldn't this also scare people from?
Brilliant questions. These are things that external people from outside look at and they feel, they touch it, and it's a shock to them. You know, and you want to look at the implications on whether it would help convince them to come down here and invest. We are speaking of needing more money from outside, and we are here bringing out messages, churning out messages to the world that shows some form of lack of preparedness in our security architecture and our security structure, and some form of curious, what I will call, I'm looking for the legal term to use, but let me just use the simplest English term. Curious enterprise of a criminal nature on the part of our electoral body.
I can imagine how hard this is for you, because I've never seen you stutter on things like this. Perhaps yes. It is really, really shocking to you.
Absolutely.
What would be your message now to the political class and even the security agencies as we move towards an election that will be held on the midweek, which is a Wednesday? My
only message is that when an election is fixed to be held, it should be held on the day it was fixed. At all times, security agencies should always be prepared. I am not saying that they are not within their legal rights or security rights, as it were, within their security powers to postpone elections for the purposes of the security situation. But I am saying that it is not just actions that matter. Most times, the messages that those actions pass make a whole lot of difference. Perception is important in this issue. And no matter how good your intention is, what message you pass across is usually what people go home with. And this time around, the message that has been passed across is the fact that there is a whole lot of hanky-panky going on somewhere that may not be so apparent.
Even though that cannot be verifiable.
Yes, I don't need to verify. I don't need to have a verifiable evidence. You just draw I will just draw our inferences.
That's innuendo.
No, it's not an innuendo. It's not an innuendo. It's an inference.
That there will be.
That there is.
Oh, you say there is.
Yes. It's like I'm drawing my inference from the events that there is a likelihood of hanky-panky.
But, we also assume that, well, having done this, INEC also know that, number one, they cannot declare, or they shouldn't, or we don't expect them to say these elections will be inconclusive. We expect these elections to start and finish in due course. So that will be part of what INEC will expect from us.
Yes.
So?
Yes. But
should we take that as a plus?
No, it's not a plus. It's even a double minus.
On the part of who?
Yes.
Expectation for INEC or from us?
From INEC. Because on that day, on September 28th, nothing stops them from still declaring the elections as inconclusive. Okay. On that September 28th, INEC could still say that the elections are inconclusive. And that will give them a fresh window of period of time again to also hold the election. And that means that within a period of 6 weeks, no matter how inconclusive the elections are, it must be concluded.
Okay, Mark would like to get a question in.
Well, Sulaiman already raised it. I was just wondering if you're a little worried about the fact that the elections will now hold on a weekday. It's 28th is Wednesday,
yes,
which is a weekday everywhere in the country and I believe around the world. Do you think that's a suitable date?
There's no date that is not suitable. We need democracy shouldn't have respect for days. Even if we have to hold elections on a Sunday, please let's do it. Even if it's on a Monday, let's do it. Because political settlement in every society is the very foundation of peace and prosperity. Where democracy reigns, the society prospers. And the only way to ensure that democracy reigns is to ensure that elections, transparent, credible and fair elections hold.
So what if they declare public holiday on that day? It will affect everything.
It will affect everything. There's no amount of money to be paid to ensure that we get it right. If they declare public holiday and they come out with a fair, credible and transparent election, we will be very glad with it. But
shouldn't we have gone beyond that stage?
We should have gone beyond that stage. But it will be double jeopardy if on the same day they declare public holiday and they come back to say the elections were inconclusive, or people come up to start complaining about the elections.
Can they still come and say it's inconclusive after having extra time?
The law permits them to
prepare for this.
The law permits them to declare it's inconclusive. There are a lot of sections in the electoral act that, for example, when you are overvoting.
Okay, but putting on your legal cap, even if the law permits them, there's still a time frame.
There's still a time frame.
They have to, and so they have less than how many weeks? 2 or 4?
Elections must be held 2 weeks. a month, that is 30 days before handover date, and that is November 12th. That means by October 12th, that election must hold.
What if people have issues with it and have to resort to court? Will they factor in all of that too?
You know that our electoral act has also made it impossible for courts to stop elections. So no matter
after the elections, people feel something was wrong with it and they challenge that election in court,
yes,
will they wait until the cases are adjudicated upon before the swearing in?
No. You must hand over. There should be somebody who is in control. There's no provision in our laws for interim arrangement. So November 12th, somebody must be sworn in, and that is where again INEC likes to play games with Nigerians. They will always say, let's just go do election anyhow it is. Let's just find somebody and name the winner of the election and let them go fight it out in court. That is one of the problems that we still have in our electoral process. And so they do it anyhow, in our local palace, anyhow, and let them go and sort themselves out in court. And that may just be what may happen in these Edo elections.
All right, Ikechukwu Ikeji, a legal practitioner and an analyst, thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much. I'm most obliged.
All right, we'll be back in a minute. Join us again.